In this video, I'm going to talk about discernment, the layers of discernment, how to have discernment, how to know when what your body is telling you and prompting you to do is discernment, how to know when your body is showing signs of discernment, how to make decisions, how to decide on things, and how to actually listen to yourself and tune into yourself. So, the roof of the House of Discernment has three main sections: distinction, definition, and decision. First floor, intuition with distinction. Second floor, logic with definition. Third floor, emotion with decision. Let's say you don't know whether to quit your job to work on your business, or you don't know whether to quit your job to go for another job, or go try to get a higher paying job.
This is what the discernment and trusting and listening to your own discernment can look like.
So we are dealing with the dilemma of quitting my job or your job, or staying, whether or not to quit the job. So this is how we would set up the house of discernment to allow and help us in our process to make that decision.
Welcome to Ori's Gold, where we become aware, align, and we ascend. Are you ready to ascend? Then subscribe now. Join the tribe, because today I am here to talk about a world crisis, a global crisis. When I say that, it's not a pandemic, it's an epidemic. It is a supply chain issue. There is a shortage. I'm here to alert you, alert the world, alert as many people are going to see this video. I'm here to alert you of this very, 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 very costly crisis. And that crisis is called the lack of discernment. Nationally, in the country that I live in, internationally and globally, and maybe even space-time continually, or solar spatially, or even, I don't even know, because it just really, really seems that there is a shortage of discernment. Honestly, truthfully, it just really seems that discernment is really going out of style, or it seems to be like a thing that's like an afterthought. Like, okay, discernment comes after. And while you don't always do better until you know better, there's a certain level of discernment that is survival instincts 101, that it just seems like most people, and when I say most people, I mean adult age people, so 20 plus, just don't have, just are struggling to have. And I'm tired of it. And I've actually been meaning to do this video for a while. I've been planning the video, what I'm going to speak about, since like for the past couple of months now. What gave me the final boost to put this video out there is this trend on TikTok.
Oh, I'm left to wonder if I let you go under, and I could watch it rain for so long it ain't even thunder, and we let all our Hollywood dreams end in a blunder, and I may never see you again. I hate when the summer ends, but it always would, and you'll always be disappointed cause you're insecure, chasing things you thought you wanted like you thought you could, and Hollywood is home now. It's just a house that is haunted where I spent all my time.
I don't know if I'm even singing the lyrics correctly. The fact that I've never heard that whole song in its entirety, and I could manage to do the lyrics like that somehow, is a sign that there is too much rubbish and nonsense going on, happening. Those videos, I mean, I was flabbergasted. I was perturbed. I was disturbed. I was concerned. I was worried. I mean, the roller coaster of the most anxious and worrisome emotions you can imagine. But overall, I was disgraced because I could see myself in those people. Because a lot of those people were women, a lot of people were black women and other women of color. And I'm just like, is this how my sisters are out here doing? That's what you do for here.
That's what they do for you. Hey! Hey!
And of course, no judgment. I do understand that sometimes emotions can take over. But you know what's even more powerful than emotion? Intuition. Intuition is the strongest invisible and energetic muscle in the whole entire body. Point blank, period. Intuition is it's a guide, but it's also a powerhouse. And I'm bringing up intuition because I'm actually going to go into details. In this video, I'm going to talk about discernment, the layers of discernment, how to have discernment, how to know when what your body is telling you and prompting you to do is discernment, how to know when your body is showing signs of discernment, how to make decisions, how to decide on things, and how to actually listen to yourself and tune into yourself. Who am I to do this video and who am I to feel like I can teach people? I am somebody who has made a lot of bad decisions. Now, granted, I made them all when I was a teenager for the most part. I had to grow up very, very fast, and I had to learn very, 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 very fast. I've also been reading people one-on-one for the past 3 years. I mean, I've worked with thousands of people, like people from all over the world. People from South Africa, people from Nigeria, people from Ghana, people from Cameroon, people from Cote d'Ivoire, people from, I think, Uganda, Kenya, people from Dubai. I mean, so many countries that I can't even, I think I'm missing people from the UK, people from Australia, people from, I'm actually France, like everywhere all over the world globally. For the most part, I've spoken to a human being one-on-one, face-to-face, high boy to high boy, like I'm doing to you right now, or I've spoken to them on the phone and I've pulled some cards for them, and they've let me into their energy, they've let me into their feelings. So combined personal life experience and things that I've learned and what I've been doing professionally as an energy worker, as a reader, as a creatress, I have the podium. I have the podium. And I hope that you will allow me to help you help yourself, because you deserve better than to constantly be in a fight or flight because you cannot honor your discernment, which is just pretty much not being able to listen or recognize your own intuition. Whether that's because of anxiety versus intuition, or whether that's because you are kind of used to the dysregulation of allowing your emotions to take over your body, or you just haven't learned how to control your emotions yet. So first of all, let's dissect it. As always, we have to dissect it. Now, I'm going to be trying my best to use my iPad as an illustrator. I was actually supposed to be using my whiteboard, but I can't honestly figure out how to hang it. So as I'm speaking, you'll see the whole illustration and dissection of discernment. So discernment is in the triple D's.
The triple D, well?
I'm an F, but for this video, the triple D's of discernment: distinction, definition, and decision. To me, discernment happens in 3 of those stages. First, distinction. What is it? What is it not? To be able to know what it's not, you have to first know what it is. So that's why distinction is the first step. Very, 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 very important. 2, definition. Once you figure out what it is, okay, then what does it mean to me? Or what does it mean to my life? Or what does it mean in general? Because sometimes we feel very neither here nor there. We feel very neutral towards things. So our definition of things is specific when it comes to discernment, because that's a very personal experience. It's not supposed to be global like a dictionary, but our definition of things is not always able to be self-focalized because of the fact that you're like, so. We don't really feel neither here nor there, or we feel numb to something or someone to be able to define it. So sometimes the definition could be on a general level. Google, what is the name of this particular feeling? Or what does this particular feeling, thing, or idea, whatever it is, mean? Then the third D is decision. You make a decision. Once you have distinguished, defined, you feel a lot clearer to make a decision. Not only just make a decision, but to make the right decision. And not only the right decision, but to also act in your best interest at the best time, or at the best moment, or at the best, or in the best situation for yourself. You're able to honor yourself. So now that we've gotten those triple D's out of the way, let's enter. Let's enter inside the triple D's. Imagine discernment is a house, and the roof of discernment are the triple D's. Okay? Then we're gonna do the first story of the house. And the first story of the house coincides with the first D. So the first story of the house is intuition. Intuition coinciding with distinguish. Like I said earlier, to be able to know what something is not, you have to know what it is. Like I was saying earlier, intuition is a muscle. Intuition is one of the most powerful invisible muscles. But all muscles, while they do have to be worked out to be strong, or have to be consistently used to be strong, but muscles, even lying dormant, are still muscles. They still very much exist. So there's a version of intuition that we get from intuition just being intuition, and there's a version of intuition that we get from knowledge. So when it comes to intuition coinciding and aligning with the concept of being able to distinguish something and to know what it is, you either know what it is because your intuition, because it's a very all-knowing, it's the manifestation and representation of your higher self and your spirit guides within you, inspiring you. It can also be the manifestation of your senses as well, your body's senses. And it can also be a manifestation of your brain and lessons learned, aka the knowledge and things that you've gone through and experienced to work out the muscle of intuition. So that intuitive energy is kind of split between what just automatically comes. You may have never gone through it, you may have never heard of it, you may not really have much experience or knowledge in it, but because your intuition is a very spiritual and energetic thing, because everything on this earth is energy. Even science backs up the fact that energy trumps everything, and energy is not even a scientific thing. Energy is a very spiritual and higher realm type of thing. And then the intuition from just what you've learned. So we have intuition, the first floor. Then we're moving on to the second floor, which is logic. Yes. The second floor is logic. Logic coincides and aligns with definition. The idea, ability, and concept of what it means to define something, even the need to want to define something, is very, very much rooted in logic. It's rooted in wanting to make something make sense, or wanting to at least arrive at a target of, okay, this is exactly what this thing means. And not only what this thing means, this is also why this thing is important. As human beings, we have a desire, whether it's innate, whether it's by nature, whether it's by nurture. We have this desire to, have things have some level of importance, some validity, because that is what allows us to be able to attach value to certain things. Like, for example, time. Like, for example, money. If you've been watching my content, you've been on my lives, but you've had a one-on-one reading with me, you've heard me say this. This is like my trademark at this point. Time is not real and money is not real. Time is made up. In different parts of the world, we go by different systems and levels of time. If I were to get into the whole history of time, I mean, this is going to be like a few hour long video. But if you've done the research, or if you want to do the research, and you will land on the fact that time was made up by humans. And why? Because,
well, it makes sense, aka logic, to
have some level of numerical structure in the day, because it keeps citizens productive, because it allows for more organization. Somebody thought it was cohesive, it was structural, it was organized, and they thought overall that it made sense. Money is literally just paper. If we all woke up tomorrow and said, okay, from this day forward, every single notebook, whether it's a 3-prong, 5-prong, college ruled, regular composition book, or if you live in Nigeria or any African country, jota, from this day forward, that is money. Not only will every single type of journal, notebook, jota, composition book, whatever, not only will it sell out tomorrow, in fact, it will sell out yesterday. It will sell out globally, because we all come together to agree that this is money, even though it's just paper and ink. No, like seriously. Even though it's just paper and ink, if we decide, okay, oh, alele, these are money, that's just how it is. So that's pretty much how money was conceptualized and created. But because of the idea of trade, goods and services, barter, there has to be some sort of exchange. If I'm going to give you something, I want something that I deem to be valuable. So like I just said, logic is very much rooted in not only the desire to make things make sense, but also the desire to attach value to things. So to define is to be logical. Then on the third floor is last but never ever least is emotion. Because I feel like emotion really gets a really bad rep, and it's just so unfair, because the idea of emotion and the idea of being emotional has been used to insult people for a very long time. Ugh.
You're emotional. You're too emotional. You need to be more logical. Or women are emotional and men are the more logical sex, Or look at you showing emotions.
Like, literally, without emotions, the human race as it's known today will cease to existence. If emotions became illegal, we would all die. Completely eradicated. So emotion does get a bad rep, but emotion is extremely important, because emotion is the driving force that makes us to act on things, that determines a lot of our behavior. So somebody who is distressed is more likely to crash or cause an accident than somebody who has peace of mind. Somebody who's experiencing extreme symptoms of depression is more likely to not show up for work, not show up for school, not pay their bills because of depression, which is a very mental and emotional condition. Somebody who is happy and confident is more likely to be a successful entrepreneur. Why? Because their emotions are in a good place. It becomes their driving force for them to be able to do things outwardly. So while emotions are very internal, emotions rule. Emotions have so much power. That's why you people, imagine if emotion could actually physically manifest itself as a monster. Hey, we are all in trouble. we are all in trouble. Because emotion is anger, emotion is sadness, emotion is happiness, emotion is stress, emotion is motivation, emotion is excitement, love. Emotion is so many different things. And that's why emotion is like this with the third D, decision. We do not make decisions, and we are not able to make decisions about what we are not emotional about. Where that emotion that we have behind it is fear, making us make a choice, making us make a decision. Where that emotion we have behind it is desire, making us make a decision. Where that emotion we have around it is jealousy. Whether that emotion we have around it is revenge. Whatever the reason for the decision, it is all driven and pushed by emotion. So, the roof of the House of Discernment has three main sections: distinction, definition, and decision. First floor, intuition with distinction. Second floor, logic with definition. Third floor, emotion with decision. So now that you understand what discernment is, what discernment looks like, how to break down discernment, if you're to actually want to try to make a decision, that's how you can do it. So for example, you can do it like this. Let's say you don't know whether to quit your job to work on your business, or you don't know whether to quit your job to go for another job or go try to get a higher paying job. This is what the discernment and trusting and listening to your own discernment can look like.
So we are dealing with the dilemma of quitting my job or your job, or staying, whether or not to quit the job. So this is how we would set up the House of Discernment to allow and help us in our process to make that decision. So we're going to follow the diagram. So first we start with distinction, and we ask ourselves a question of distinction or an observation. It really doesn't matter. What is my intuition saying? Stay or go? Because remember, distinction goes with intuition. And as soon as you fill out the distinction portion, then you go to the first floor, which is intuition, and you write down there what your intuition may be sensing or telling you, which is why it says intuitive senses and knowing. And you can also ask yourself a question or put an observation. What is my intuition telling me about my job / leaving my job? If you ask a question, you answer the question. If you make an observation, whether you meditated or whether you just sat with yourself and listened to your intuition, you write that there. So you've done your distinction and you came to do your intuition. Now we move on to definition. What does quitting mean to me / for me? It's very important that you figure out, how do you define quitting? Do you define quitting to be something that is extremely big and life-changing, or do you define quitting to just be just another part or process of your chapter? Because sometimes before we're clear on our definition of things, we tend to make a really, really big deal out of them, and they can become a huge main character, but more so like a villain in our lives when we really never had to be afraid of them because we may have over-exaggerated their importance. So once you do that definition portion, then you come to the second floor, which definition coincides with logic. Any logic-based observation / question. How will quitting define me or the quality of my life? Then you move on to decision. Now this is getting to the portion where you're about to decide. You're about to go with what feels right. Now this decision portion, you don't have to fill it out immediately. This is the last step. Is you can actually take some time after working on the logic and the intuition portion and the definition and the distinction portion to actually just come back to it, to just think about it, and then you work on the decision portion. So for the decision portion, I follow the same question format. Again, it can be a question or observation. Now that I have checked in with myself, what do I feel is right for me to do about my job? And then you come to the third floor and write down emotion-based observation/question. What emotions do I have around/about quitting my job? And then, if you take your time, listen to yourself, and follow the same exact diagram and this house of discernment, yes, you actually have to draw a house. You will not only make a decision, you will be less indecisive, and you'll actually be able to make the best decision for yourself. Now, you don't have to make the general diagram there and put it right under. I just did that, just for video purposes. So you can just start a new house and just screenshot the house of discernment so you can follow it when the next time you need to make a decision.
Now, I want to go back to intuition very quickly, because intuition is very, 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 very crucial. That's actually why it's number one. And even if you fail at everything else, even if you fail at distinction, definition, decision, logic, emotion, as long as you at least pass intuition, you're good to go. Like, you won't have any stain. It won't even be obvious that you don't know what you don't know what you're doing, or you're maybe not doing exactly what you're supposed to be, because it's going to be smooth with intuition. So I actually wrote a book about intuition. It's a free book, by the way. It's a free ebook. Looks like this. It's on my website, orisgold.co. Click on products and you'll be able to click on the book and download it and just read it, because I go into intuition. It's actually going to be a 4-book series. The first 2 books are going to be free, and the last 2 books are going to be priced. So download it, please, please, please. But I actually want to get into a little bit of intuition, because I don't just want to trust that everybody that's listening here is not stubborn. I mean, I trust my Goldies, but I know that not everybody watching is a Goldie. So I also cannot trust that you actually will listen and go and download the book. So let's go ahead and let's get into a little bit of the book. So I'm going to have my handy dandy, it's 533. I'm going to have my handy dandy iPad. I'm going to read from page 5 of the book. It's not a lot to read. It's actually very readable and not too long, but as the series progresses, there's going to be even more and more pages. 5, the look of intuition. Look is metaphorical here because intuition is a spiritual and energetic sense. So you can't see it, but you don't have to be able to see something to know that it's there. You just have to be able to perceive plus sense its presence. The lack of physical sight to intuition is what makes it extremely hard to trust and believe it as real proof of anything. You can see these pictures or believe someone's description of what they see, but can you trust your intuition's sight to guide you? I want you to actually think about that for a little bit. Can you trust your intuition's sight enough to guide you? Can you trust your intuition enough to allow it to have some level of authority over your life? Because it's one thing for another person to try to tell you what to do, right? You'd be like, don't try to fucking tell me what to do. Are you mad? Who the fuck are you directing? Do I work for you? But what happens when it's your own intuition? When it's a feeling, a knowing, whether it shows up here in your heart, in your head, in your mind, in your aura / surrounding your whole entire body, your guts. Contrary to what most people on the internet who are into spirituality, mindfulness, whatever, will tell you, intuition is not only in your head or in your guts. Intuition can show up anywhere. Like, for example, your throat can start really burn and really hurt you because your intuition is trying to tell you, hey, by the way, in the next week and a half, you're going to get into a huge fight with your boyfriend. You guys are going to break up. Your intuition can be making your hands itch. Why? Because the popular superstition, money is on the way. Intuition is not only in, no. Can you trust it? So this is an issue of control. When it comes to intuition and you listen to your own intuition, you have to be willing to let go of control. Are you willing to do that? I also wanted to get into how to actually recognize the appearance of your intuition, how to know what is intuition and what is not intuition. Now, there's this whole phenomenon of anxiety versus intuition. I'm actually going to do a whole different video. Like, I have a whole elaborate video planned about that. Like, it's gonna have scenes. I'm hoping to maybe interview a couple of people, so just look out for that. That's coming more so like next year. Okay, but watch out for that. But I'm just going to briefly touch on how to recognize the appearance of your intuition. As always, I like to dissect. I'm a dissector. You have to feel it, know how it feels. You have to observe it, and you have to learn it. Now, that actually comes in no particular order, because sometimes learning your intuition comes first, then feeling it, then observing it. Sometimes observing your intuition comes first, then you feel it. You observe it, so you know what you're feeling. Then you can finally, okay, I can conclude after observing and feeling that this is what my intuition is. Intuition can happen anyway, but as long as you have those three things, the order really doesn't matter. But overall, it's all about being willing to listen to yourself. It's very important that you spend time meditating, you spend time being mindful, you spend time in silence. You need silence, whether it's 15 minutes of silence a day, whether it's 24 hours if you live alone of silence a day, whether it's 30 minutes of silence, whether it's being at work and maybe have moments of silence. Whether it's even, who knows, because people have very, 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 very busy lives and they live with other people. Whether it's even 1 hour of silence a week, you need some level of complete total silence. Not all these different distractions, devices. No, I mean complete, utter, and total silence, so that you are actually able to hear yourself. And I understand that not everybody has an internal dialogue. I recently learned that actually that not everybody has like a voice in their head that's kind of like a thought, but there are also other ways that you can listen to yourself, even if you don't have that internal dialogue in your head. I mean, I could try to put it into words, but you know yourself better than anybody else does. So just take time to listen to yourself. Honestly, it also all boils down to self-care and having a much better view and perception of yourself. Because if you're still viewing yourself through the perception and the lens of your childhood, when you were told that you were stupid, you're not smart, you always make mistakes, you make dumb decisions, you're a failure, you're never ever going to really be able to honor yourself or have a good relationship with trusting yourself. Because any single time you make a choice in your life, or any single time you try to listen to your own self, you just be like, ugh, look at that one. What is he even saying? What is she even saying? What are they even saying? But really, the person you're doing that to is yourself, because you're still having those binoculars, having those glasses of perceiving yourself to be the person that you were told you were, and aka really told to be, programmed to be. So you have to completely divorce, even if you are still in the process of trying to heal from believing that. In the moment, act against that. That's all, my people. That's all for today, folks. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching. If you stuck around this long, I want you to drop either a cheers clinking champagne glasses emoji or a yellow heart emoji below. I really, really enjoyed this video, and I'm so happy that I pushed past my anxiety and trusted my intuition and the logical sense it will make to put this video out there for you because I care about you. Comment down below a situation, a moment that you had where you trusted your discernment or you didn't trust discernment, because discernment can be the difference between life and death. And if you don't believe that, I actually want you to think about a situation where a decision could have made or break you, either after the fact of you not making it, you realizing, oh, a few months later or however long later when things played out, I'm so glad I didn't do that. Or when you made it a few months later or sometimes years later, you're like, wow, I really fucked up. Or even days later. Most of us have had that experience, so you literally cannot deny that discernment is real. So comment that down below, any situation you've had, any lessons you've learned, anything like that. And don't forget to turn on the notification bell, because I need you to know when I show up to the party. You know, when I have a party, when I throw a party, when I put a video out there, I need you to be there. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you on the other side. Stay golden. Bye.
Tell money. Tell me that I owe me some worry me. Tell money. Tony, la ma jojo. Tony, la ma debe.